Well, hi there. It's Noxter, back on the Otlichno server, back recording on the Otlichno server, and apologies if I sound a little bit congested at the moment, it's because I am. I wanted to talk about elytra. Now, when elytra were first added to the game, it was kind of just, I guess, assumed that people just jump off something high and glide around the place, which is kind of nice, but people quickly discovered that what they really wanted was powered flight, and they quickly learned about shooting yourself with punch bows, and soon that became the normal way of getting around. Trouble with that is, well, various things. It was a little bit of a pain, because it was kind of limited by your speed. You had to be going fast enough, so it was really hard to get off the ground, and stuff like that, and if you were flying too slow, you couldn't, and if there wasn't enough space below you and you were flying over a lake of lava, you could easily die. Yes, which you may remember from my adventures on Brewcraft, if you've watched those. Right. But people also at the time invented elytra launchers. The earliest ones, they used things like cows and stuck a bunch of them in a hole and used the power of collision physics to eject you ridiculously far. And that was pretty good, especially for taking off, because, as I said, taking off was a pain. But it wasn't long before people suddenly had these elytra launchers everywhere. People discovered that boats were better, because they're a little bit nicer to deploy. You can just use a dispenser, and there they are. And also, they cause less lag on the server and things, because they don't have AI and stuff. But people were building all over the place, and soon they were lagging up all the servers, and it was becoming a pain. Then the last thing on that I saw was Tango designed one that was designed so that you press a button and it spits out all the boats, builds up the thing, and then it destroys them again after you've gone, so it's lag friendly in that respect. And that was pretty nice. But it was pretty soon after that that Mojang and the devs were like, well, people want to fly, let's give them a proper way to fly. So they made firework rockets able to make you fly. And it's good, there's a cost, you have to, get gunpowder and paper together, but it became a lot more convenient. People don't really use the boost bows anymore, especially since they made it you can't get infinity and mending on a bow at the same time. So that kind of took over, and launching is a lot easier. All you need is a suitably high ledge to jump off. If you've got good ping, you can even manage it on flat ground, or to make it really convenient, you can use a ladder or a cobweb, and that's really nice. And people kind of forgot about elytra launchers. That is until now. See, there's a thing. The way fireworks work when they propel you is there's different durations, obviously, and the longer durations last longer. And people argue about which one's better, because these ones, it's more cost effective. You get more boost out of one booster, more boost out of the gunpowder you get for boosters than you would out of a cruiser, or the duration one. I name them different things to make them easy to distinguish. So, for the purpose of cheapness of the amount of gunpowder you use, definitely these ones are the way to go. But if you're travelling a long distance, these are nice because you can carry a lot further power in a single stack in your inventory. So the way the rockets actually work is, as long as they're active, they're setting you to like a set certain speed, which is reasonably fast. So that can have some downsides, like for navigating close quarters, and like if you're flying through caves on the nether, that's a bit of a pain, because sometimes it would be nice if you could have a lesser boost. But also, it means that if you're going really, really fast, they'll actually slow you down to that speed and work like brakes. So there's basically just a cap onto how effective rockets actually are. Now, the fastest way to travel horizontally is if you aim down at about 55 degrees, 50 something around there, and that's how you get the fastest horizontal velocity. But obviously you lose altitude very quickly doing that. So if you want to get the most distance out of your altitude, you go pretty much level, which is nice. If you're running it, you're worried about efficiency of how much. If you're like short on rockets and you need to get there, and that's important, then fly more level. If you want to get there in a hurry and have lots, then by all means go down, or find a nice happy compromise. Also, the faster you go, obviously, the less durability it takes off your wings. And, more importantly, just the faster you get places. Which, I mean, if you're not getting there fast, what's the point of going there by flying? And that's the thing, to build up these rockets. So because of that, the best way, if I want to go somewhere, say I want to go to my base, the Drakkenberg, that's 4,300 blocks that way. The best way to get there as fast as possible is to fly up really high, to like, I don't know, about 1,000 blocks up, and then go down at that 55-degree angle. And so you do all the flying up first, and then glide. That's what you get the most power out of. But that does take quite a lot of rockets to get up that high. And that's where the elytra launcher comes in handy. So, I think I mentioned Tango designed the idea of having one that oh, he's talking to me. Designing one that it's lag friendly because you can pack it up after you go, and then only rebuild it when you need it. So earlier around that sort of time period, I was working on designing my own design, and in that case I wanted one that was fast to deploy. His took a little while, and you kind of had to wait around for like 40 seconds before you could take off. Whereas, you know, this is about flying places quickly. You don't want to stand around for too long waiting to get boosted. And especially in that case, you kind of want to just... I figured it was better to have a little bit of a boost to get you started, and then you're shooting yourself with bows, which you were doing at the time. Whereas now, we got the rockets, and the main reason we need the elytra launcher, like if you just want to do a little flight, then you can just use the rockets, because they're fine for that. So the elytra launcher, this beautiful thing here, the Sky Blaster 9001, which I have adapted, the sky is not the limit anymore, is beautiful for that, because it's kind of, like, this one is designed, it takes longish to recharge, it's not so worried about that, but it's powerful. This is supposed to be a big blast to get you places fast. So it doesn't matter if it takes too long to wind up. Currently this one, so due to the wiring, there's kind of like a minimum to the amount of boats you can fit in there. If you have less than that, the machine can malfunction. So this is set at the minimum power. Let's test this thing out. The boats are in there, so I've got buttons to put the boats there, buttons to remove them if you're worried about lag. Most of the time, at this minimum power setting, it's kind of fine as is. But let's try and get a lot of height, which is if I want to fly that way, and go to, like, if I want to go to Drakkenberg or Thor's place, that's what I do, go up mostly. And just watch, you see my Y coordinate there on the side? Just watch how quickly that racks up. And, okay, there we are at 1,000, 300, 400, 500. And I'm way down. See, I can look pretty much down. If I just look up a bit, there's Thor's place, there's my place. I can see those on the same screen, looking, and I'm still above Spawn Town. And that is on the minimum power setting. On maximum power, I'd be going up to like 3,000 blocks. But that's almost not necessary, because from going up this high, I can fly all the way at pretty much that 55 degrees maximum speed to the Drakkenberg with just that boost, no rockets at all. So that's pretty nice, I reckon. I'm not quite sure how the speed compares to going through the nether. I think it's faster certainly than walking through the nether, but I haven't actually compared it to flying through the nether. So it's probably still a little bit faster to fly through the nether, but I generally like flying through the overworld anyway, because it feels nicer, and I've got this nice map, and you kind of feel how everything's connected, and you get to see everything, and this makes it fast enough that it's not really too much of an issue. Yeah. So, this thing is beautiful. And I like the way I've decorated it. I did a lot of effort compacting it to fit inside this nice box, and spent far too long designing it just so that this dragon head would be powered and do the open and shut its mouth whilst it's reloading. So yes, if I want to destroy these, it uses TNT, but say if I'm worried about the lag it's causing, again, this is on minimum power, so it's not too bad. If I set it up to maximum power, it probably would be causing more issues. But I can just press that. We should get a TNT dropping down, but I can take off. I've got enough time to take off, and then the boats will be gone. And they all get packed up and shoved back inside the system. I didn't use lava because, frankly, it was a pain to work with. Like, you need a dispenser to quickly put the lava in. Pretty much the only place I could get it that would work without being a block you could accidentally smash your face into and die was where this water is pointing up. And the water is important for collecting the boats and putting them back into the system. So the only way, I guess if I could have this floor raised up and maybe have the water go that way instead, or have a complicated system where one dispenser puts out the water and then takes away the lava and then stuff. But I've discovered TNT is not too bad. Like, think about it. One TNT is worth 5 gunpowder and sand. Compared to the amount of gunpowder you put in rockets to get that much speed, it's negligible. And you only have to use that if you are concerned about lag. Most of the time it's fine. So when you want to reload it, you just hit one of the green buttons, and there's 2 of them, mostly just to maintain the symmetry as much as possible. Obviously, not everything can be perfectly symmetrical. Like here you got the droppers down the sides and stuff, and the ladder. And the red button's only on one side because that doesn't fit. And here you go, press the button, and everything loads. And here we can see the wonderful, I'm loading. And yeah, it takes, I don't actually remember how long this one takes, but it's about that long. It does sound like it's lagging a little bit. Yeah, and then it dings just like a microwave when it's ready to go, which I really like. And again, that's minimum power. I'm going to go over to my test world and show you what maximum power would do. So here you can see kind of the development process as I go through various prototypes to get to here. And this is it. It's fully loaded with the maximum power. And I say that in kind of quotes because if you really wanted, you could extend this higher and probably fit some more in there if you really wanted to. But this is the basic setting at maximum power. You'll notice it's running a bit more smoothly because it's directly on my computer now. And yeah, it takes a bit longer to refill, obviously, because that's maximum power. And you notice that it starts to slow down the ticking kind of around here. And now it's kind of really slowed down, so it is causing that lag. I don't know if it's quite so bad once it's finished. Like it's really slowing down. That's just the tick rate dropping. I think once it's loaded, it's not quite so bad. It's just while the clock's still running. But yeah, you can see what it does. There. And it should be done soon. Let's see how it's going. Yep. Oomph. Yeah, so it kind of smooths out a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit jerkier. So this is the maximum power. And watch how quickly I'm going to have to put my F3 on here. So again, we're looking at the Y coordinate, which is there. So here we're starting about 77, which is probably a similar height to what we were over. Yeah. Okay, aim up and a bit forward. Just watch that Y coordinate. Well, there's 1,000, there's 2,000, there's 3,000, and a few hundred. Woof. So it's about 3 times more powerful. And this is how long it takes you to get back down to Earth. And this is me pointing straight down, which goes at maximum speed. This is the other downside, of course, with amping it up to maximum power, is because... where did I come from? Yeah, because it takes so long to get down. If I did want to fly somewhere closer, then it would just actually take longer because I have to wait to get down to Earth. So in some ways, the maximum power is almost too much. So yeah, that's the full power version. And I feel like I probably want to do a tutorial on this because it's pretty cool and I haven't done a tutorial in a while and I'd like to. So I'll probably do that, especially if, let me know if you want to see a tutorial because I feel like we should have more of these around the place because they make life so convenient. Anyway, let's pop back over to where we were. So of course, last episode we were working on the embassy over at Thor's place. I've kind of taken a break from that. I've built like the building structure, at least the outside. Still needs to kind of some of the floors and internals and everything still needs to be done in the dragon statue. But I've taken a break to work on Otlichno Arcade, which is our kind of mini-games area. And it's kind of theme parky a little bit. So it's really cool that this thing is pointing straight that way. It kind of just worked out nicely just because of the positioning. But this is the best way to get there. And it reminds me of in Super Mario Sunshine. One of the levels is like a theme park on an island. And to get there, you jump in a cannon which blasts you over to it. So this is very reminiscent of that. So you just pop in, and this time at a bit of a lower trajectory. We'll aim up a little bit to make sure it works, and then we just go. You can pretty much aim straight there, and this is the case, like, it might be nice to be able to get there faster with the more power, but again, by the end of it, you just have to get down to Earth. So with that lower trajectory, it wouldn't be quite so bad. But even here, you end up way in the sky. So this is the beautiful entrance to Otlichno Arcade. I made a sign. It's a happy, joyful rainbow, and the ground's covered in snow. Kind of looks like a cloud's just plopped over things, and the signs. I really like the way the banners blend in so well with the things. I think it's even slightly better on default texture pack. So you just kind of see the letters mostly. And inside we have, this is kind of the information wall, which gives you instructions. This is like suggestions if you have an idea for a game that you want to have, like Spleef, someone should build, and King of the Ladder, and there's probably others. So anyone can come on here, grab some signs if they say, someone should build this. That's if you have an idea, and here's the planned ones if someone wants to come along and say, I'm going to build this. So obviously you can come along and say, someone suggested this, I'll build that, and take it over and put it on the planned wall if you want, or just add your own. So these are the things I've currently planned to build. Is Mole Wars, which we're going to look at because I've actually built it. And Target Landing is going to come later. Bomb Boats. The Hunting Grounds is kind of our, like, the big PvP thing, which will be fun. Volleyball, I'm not sure if that's actually going to work so well anymore, but I might do like I've kind of developed that idea and I ended up inventing golf instead. So that might happen, but it might not. And I might do, if I do that, I'll try and do it with help. Like, I'll get, say, everyone build a different course thing. But I have to see if there's any interest in that. And yeah, just directions. So we've kind of got this vibe going on. These concrete roads. This kind of little entrance garden-y thing. I don't know if I want to put a tree or something decorative here. And I've kind of planned out lots of the roads. Let's have a look at the map. That's where I got the main roads, and there'll be different minor roads as well, going to various games. I kind of want to group things together into districts. So we'll have like PvP games in kind of there-ish. And maybe like board game area for like games that are, there's board games that could pretty much just as easily not be built in Minecraft, but just because we can. And maybe quirky games that are like more game quirks. And basically the whole area is, there's this plains area around here, there's this hill there, which is that there, which is kind of flattish and also good, and probably along the borders of these mountains. So my Target Landing game is going to extend over the water and probably come from this cliff here, so it'll be like around there. And offshore, if people want to build things off there or along the beach, that's nice. I might make the beach look kind of resorty as well. I've got the road that's going to go along there. Alright, but this whole area, this lovely rocky area you can see here, and I've started to build a perimeter wall around it, is the hunting grounds. Is kind of what I'm calling it. Originally I was thinking some kind of big capture the flag. I just like just the natural biome because of the biome bundle mod we're using, or used to generate this custom terrain. I just thought this terrain is just kind of perfect for some kind of game where it involves people hunting down other people and running around and PvPing and fighting amongst all the different rocks. And it's just this cool big area. It's kind of almost a natural shape for it. It's pretty big. And that cow agrees. But I like it. And it's also like, you kind of got this central hill, which is, there. So I want to have that maybe a center point, have some kind of watchtower thing, depending on how the game actually works. I've had various different ideas and I keep changing it. And then you could have like a north area and a south area if you wanted to have it 2-base. So I'm not entirely sure what I'll do there, and ultimately I want to keep it fairly simple. Like, people have made big PvP games where they're kind of custom building all the arena, but I pretty much want to just take this as natural terrain, maybe add bases if necessary, and then just say go and fight according to these rules. And I kind of like the idea of having like a powerful team with like good weapons hunting down a team that's less well equipped, and that kind of effect. So it's like, or possibly have it going both ways, is capture the flags. I'm not quite sure. Ideally, I mean, this is a big area, you could have it available for different games in the same playing field, which is good. So for the perimeter wall, I've kind of built just to kind of show where the boundary is for the area. So that's what I've been working on lately, and it just goes around here, and also just as a spot so people inside can just know where they can build games and where to stop. And also, we don't really, ideally, want to have this lit up so no mobs are spawning around here in the games area, because that's no fun. But I kind of do want them spawning over there, because that adds to the hunting grounds. So that's what I'm going with that. And obviously there's a lot that isn't lit up here, and it is dangerous. So this is Mole Wars, which is the first game I've built, and I believe it's ready to go. I just need to push this button. You can see part of it's already, well, I can see part of it's already built, but I should explain this. You can see there's a lot of pistons down there. So basically, it's just a giant cobblestone generator, or technically 4 giant cobblestone generators that make a giant block of cobblestone, and the game involves you digging tunnels in that cobblestone and trying to kill each other. Let's say g'day. And yeah, there's quite a lot of wiring around under here that makes that all happen. And oh, I should not go in this way actually, because that won't be effective. Also, shouldn't that thing have been... Actually, never mind. I'm wrong about that. So, yes. What was I saying? Let's have a look a bit at the redstone underneath. I pretty much copied it from Schematic. I actually designed the thing quite some time ago. You can see it's a bit of a mess of wiring and stuff. And so, yeah, because it's like I've just rebuilt something I designed earlier. I'm just like, what is this wire here for? And stuff. So there's a lot of bits where it's just confusing. But I know the general gist of it. So let's see if it works. I was trying to get some water out of it just to, because I needed water for something else. I was just trying to use that as a water source. And digging my way back out of there, I accidentally set it going. And that's why this 1/4 is set. But let's see what happens. If we press this button, the whole thing should work and fill up. And those skeletons... Oh, there's music. I didn't know that was supposed to happen when you press that. I guess... Oh, maybe they're just resetting for the first time. Or maybe... I don't know. Also, I can see nothing's kind of happening. So... Oh, it's possible it needs to have a little cobblestone in there to get it started, actually. Now I think about it. But the cool thing is the skeletons, and any players left in the game, once you press the reset button, they just get calmly crushed to death and their items will just get jettisoned onto the top. So they don't need to go through all the tedious bother of finding their way out again. Alright, I'm going to see if I can get this thing to start working so we can fill it up so that we can be ready for a game. That sounds more like it. Let's go up to the top. Ooh, and yeah. It's going to cause quite a fair bit of lag whilst it's running. And especially on the first time, the initial setup, because it's got to build the whole thing. But after that, like in the future, you'll just have all the tunnels that you've done that need to be filled up, so it won't be quite as much happening at once. And also, it's only while the game is resetting when this is an issue. So yeah, we can see it gradually filling up. Oh my goodness, this is the slideshow! I might put this on a time lapse or something, because, yeah. Let's give the test a little bit of a system. The system a little bit of a test. We've got these lockers here so people can store their stuff. And it's pretty nice. I'm going to put banners over the front of all of them so they're color coded. And I'll probably try and have stations like this at every game that involves death, obviously. But maybe also have like other ones occasionally around the place. Like there's 4 here because it's a 4-player game, but obviously you might have more people hanging out to play. And, you know, if you've got, like, a bunch of people around, obviously it's 4 at a time, but other people might want to store their stuff as well. So that'd be nice. And a bed here to sleep. Oh, don't forget the armor. Alright. And the kit you get mole claws, mole scents, some potatoes, spectral arrows, and potions. That's kind of the idea I'm going with. Obviously I need to actually test it and figure out if that needs tweaking or the numbers and things, and possibly some armor, I don't know, because these do, what, 5 damage? These probably do a bit more. I'm not sure if the spectral arrows do more or less damage than the ones. Some people have said they do, but the wiki doesn't say anything about it, so I'm not quite sure how that works. But either way, like, the arrows, you're not going to be able to have a lot of time. It's fairly close quarters, so you're not going to be using the arrows too much. But you get that spectral effect, so if you can manage to tag someone, then they can't hide for 10 seconds. And you also, under here there's a dispenser, so when the game starts, you get spiked with that. So for the first 10 seconds, people can see where you are. Alright, so you press the button, and there's a button in each. You get a countdown, and then all is go. See, yep, I get stabbed, and it's just a tiny little spike. And yeah, I've got the spectral effect. And you can dig around. There's no efficiency on the pick. I guess that's going to be good change if necessary, but this is a pretty decent speed. The pick's also your melee weapon, so like we said, 5 attack damage. And basically, yeah, try and hunter each other down and kill each other, obviously. I'm just testing out with just me, so there's no one to kill. But I like it, you got that glass, so it's kind of like an ant farm. You can see when people are tunneling next to the glass. So spectators can at least occasionally see something. When I was originally planning this game, or something like this a while ago, it was back when X-ray machines could still work. So I was planning on having X-ray machines around the side that spectators could use. But I don't think there's any working X-ray machines currently. But I mean, I guess people can use their camera accounts if they have one in spectator mode, and use that for spectating if we want to do that. Get some nice third-person footage. But yeah, so basically tunnel around, try and find each other, kill each other, but it's also like try and be sneaky, kind of sneak around behind people. You can block up passages as you're gone, so try and confuse people. You can also like dig traps, like dig a big hole and then try and trick someone into falling into it, like I tried doing back in UHC and failed miserably. Good time to practice those kind of strategies, or just dig confusing mazes and sneak around behind people and pop them. You can actually, I might try not to use up the arrows at the moment. Oh, I did anyway. Oh, you can pick them up. Am I silly? Yeah. So yeah, if you do miss, again, I don't know about, and the food, that's mainly just for healing yourself, I guess, so if you can get away. Obviously, you can't break the floor of the pistons, or the glass, or anything else like that. Don't break things, or the wood of the walls. Hello! And yeah, occasionally when you're next to the glass, you'll be able to see out everyone, and they'll be able to see in. And, oh yes, you're supposed to, I'm not sure about the night vision, but it's probably nice. Because when you're not near the surface, it's going to get pretty dark. That's probably nice to be able to see. I originally thought of maybe just having it so you can use torches, but I don't know if that's, I mean, they could add some interesting strategy, like you can light up areas and make, I don't know what they're going to do strategically for you. But yeah, so the idea is you just dig around. Yeah, like here it's really dark. Like I can't really see, and it would just probably get annoying. So I think the night vision is probably the way to go. But also, like, it lasts for, what, 8 minutes? So maybe, like, if the game lasts longer than that, you've only got that 8 minutes. So you could maybe not use it at first and wait until, you know, the opportune moment kind of thing. And that way everyone else is handicapped when you're not. So you could use that a bit strategically. I don't know. Again, we really need to actually test out the actual game to see how it would play. Anyway, I've got to find my way out of here. And then we'll reset the system and see what happens. And just check out all the wiring's working. Once you get out, once there's only one player left, they're the winner, obviously. Yeah, you can see the spots where we've got the tunnels next to the glass, which is kind of cool. And these platforms here, you can kind of stand and look and have a nice range, or you can climb onto the top to see the tunnels there. And obviously if it was a bigger game with 4 people doing that, it'll be kind of nuts. And then you just press this button. When the lights are on, the buttons will be ready to be pressed, and it should reset. And if the guy is left in there, again, he'll be calmly crushed to death, and the items you can pick up from the top. And yeah, it shouldn't be as much of a big deal, the reset thing, because it still is a fair bit laggy, you can see, but it won't be as bad, and it will be a lot shorter because it only has to go the once and only has to fill in those extra gaps. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. Again, the circuit was designed quite a while ago. If I was doing it again, I'd probably do this a bit differently, so I could use powered rails for most of that, because that just has to update the observers. But I quite like the way, well, it was designed, when I designed it, observers were still fairly new, so it kind of worked out well to use them. And it just automatically detects when it's working, so it knows knows when to stop and when to finish, basically, just by it automatically just sets itself going, basically. So like when the piston pushes, it detects that it's pushing, which makes it do the next pistons, which makes the piston push, and so on and so forth. So it automatically stops using the clock timer thingy without having to do any fancy thing. That makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, and it's pretty simple. Basically, you got lights here with buttons on them, and when the lights are on, means the buttons are ready to be pushed, and you push that button to start it, and that button to reset it. That's pretty much all there is to it. And yeah, so I'll have to tweak that and get some people to actually play it sometime. I was actually hoping to do it last weekend, but then I got sick, so I didn't really feel like it. Alright. So, let's take off to the skies again. And just do a few more talky things. Survey the area, because I kind of showed you on the map, but I didn't actually see. I kind of like that these towers are here. They kind of look kind of old ruinedy towers, like kind of theme parky, like you'd have those kinds of things. So I don't know yet. Maybe they could be incorporated into some kind of game or something. So yeah, the whole area is planned to cover up to like the edge of these mountains at least, and have there. And I don't know. I need to encourage people to actually come and build some games here, because no one has yet. So hopefully that can happen. But also it helps if once I've got a few games that we can actually play here, other people will come to actually play those games and want to build more. So there's still a fair bit of work. Lots of the roads need to be finished and stuff. But I will keep working on that over the next however long. And at some point we need to get back to Thor's base and finish off the embassy. And yeah, I want to do that. Maybe next episode, I don't know. But yeah, I do want to actually go through in more detail the actual structure and the design of the embassy itself. So that should be interesting. Yeah. Maybe I should build another one of those elytra launchers to get back to spawn, because it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, I definitely want to have those around the place, because like I said, I can fly from spawn, from town to the Drakkenberg without having to use any rockets, but there's no way back without using rockets, and that's a lot more of a pain. So eventually I want to get one set up there and all around the place. They're not too hard to build, not too expensive. They're just, I don't know, a fair chunk of iron and stuff. But yeah, I don't know where I'd put one around here. It almost makes logical sense for it to be outside the gate, because like as you're exiting, I don't know. But at some point I will probably figure out a spot and do that. Or not. I might just have it, you got here, you walk back. But maybe here, or even over on this peninsula. Who knows? Anyway, I think I've got to wrap up this episode. Because, again, fairly talky. Not much actual doing things, just showing you what I have been doing, and that's good because I need to keep up. Oh, should I? No, I'll mention that later. Yeah, that was just another thing. But yeah. Just to keep you up to date, I figured I'd do that because quite a lot has been happening. And I want to talk about that. So I don't know what's happening at the moment or what I'm going to do next. I've kind of lost my trains of thought, but I'll call this a day because I don't know actually how long it is that I'll actually use of that footage. But who cares if it's a short one, right? It might not actually be a short one anyway, and I'd rather have a short episode than keep doing long episodes all the time. So, at the rate I'm talking here, this is going to quickly turn into a long episode with me just rambling, and I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So thanks for watching, listening to my opinions about flying and things, and we will get on to things in the future, and maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to build that, because I might need to use an instructive video on how to use it, because some people apparently can't comprehend basic signage. Kit and war. Anyway, see you later. Get lost. Why am I still talking? Why are you still watching me? Stop watching me. Go home. Go do other things. Come and build mini games for me though. Do come and do that. That was crazy. So, yeah. Apparently you can fly if you use a rocket. If you're flying to boost yourself into the portal because you're in a hurry, you can fly straight through the creeper face into the lava. Luckily I had my fire resistance potion on my hotbar because I was about to go to the nether. I think for a fail-safe for that, I could possibly add like a gap behind the lava, fill it with like ladders or something, so that at least there's an air gap, so if that does happen, I... Oh dear. That was nuts.